Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, with this week's episode of Dororo, we get some interesting notes, and with this show being usually with a silent character, it's very easy to tell what's going on and throughout the episode. So there's not much really guessing as much as uh, like My Heroes and all these other animes that have all these characters that express themselves much easier than how this guy can. But with this week's episode, we meet a very, very sweet girl that loves to sing and pretty much is trying to do her best to save or at least keep these kids alive that she has been stranded with because of the wars that have been taking place throughout just the lands that they were living in. Some of these kids have lost limbs and stuff like that. So it just goes to show you what type of environment that they were already living in, not to mention what she has to do just to get them these food, medicine, all these different things, which we find out, which I kind of guessed after she said she worked at night. Um, I was like, yeah, she's definitely working all right, which is super sad because she looks like she's the same age, if not younger, than the guy that we're following right now. So if you could put that into perspective, just how messed up her whole entire life might have been since this has started, this way of getting food and medicine and whatnot. Um, if this is what she's been doing all this time for these kids, she's pretty lucky not to have lost her life during all of this because not only was she working for one of the teams, she started to work for both the teams. So I'm guessing once one team really starts to lose, you kind of lose out on being able to give out stuff so freely, like, oh, well, I want to give out this medicine to this girl because of her services. Like, nah, we can't do that because we are losing out here, so it's that type of case, I think, where she's like, well, I might as well go to the winning team and, whatever, whatevs. But of course, our little kid that's been following our main character around was the one to witness all this, and I'm guessing he has a pretty good idea of this type of stuff already, like in the sense of he knew what was going on, like so. I guess it's not that far fetched that he has either seen or been around this type of behavior before, which I mean, he was still very surprised, so maybe it wasn't that much of it, but seemingly he knew instantly what was happening. So if that is the case, um, I honestly don't know what he's gonna do when it comes down to actually trying to, you know, show up out of the blue and be like it's okay or something. Not to mention, she was showing us signs of that the very towards the very end when she shows up and she's like fixing her robe multiple times because she thinks the guy is practically just staring at that, So it was pretty obvious. It wasn't super obvious when she said she works at night and the kids were there and stuff like that, but once it got further and further in, it was pretty clear what she meant, and pretty sad that that even has to be a thing for these kids, and to think that even that wasn't what she's doing isn't even keeping them fully secured. She's still planning on probably going back every single time that she can because they could die at any time with this war raging on and then maybe stumbling upon where they're at and taking them out without any type of conscience. So, with all that being said, that is pretty much the new girl that we've gotten, and just learning about her and seeing what she could bring to the story. Because right now, I was expecting this monster that we kind of spotted a little bit towards the halfway mark with the priest. I thought as soon as he spotted him, that monster might have been the reason why the girl could travel and stuff. Like that monster was gonna go in on the kids or something. I'm glad. I'm glad I was wrong on that case. I'm super glad I was wrong. I did not want those kids to get like destroyed. The only problem is with these types of animes, it doesn't matter when the kids get destroyed. It's a matter of, or it's not how the kids get destroyed, it's a matter of when, because at this point in time, they are definitely in a bad position where there's a war, there's demons, and then there's just bandits out there, that are staying away from the war and looking for a place to eat, shelter, stuff like that. So it's pretty bad. I'm not looking forward to seeing if that is the case for the kids, because it feels like in the credits or like in the opening songs, this is the girl that seemingly is traveling with them. And if she is traveling with them and it's for reasons of, what I think it could be, as in she has nothing left to protect, so she wanted to at least be helpful to somebody or someone. That's what it kind of seems like it's getting to. Um, but overall, I think when we get down to the narrative of the full story, we'll probably learn that, um, she might have done something even worse than we know, and she's trying to like right her wrongs or stuff like that. Because some people don't feel like guilt, like they don't feel the need to start to take care of a whole bunch of people that don't even, have the capability of taking care of themselves, let alone have any actual relationship to you in the blood and stuff like that. Some people don't feel that need to do that. So women and men. And so if it's something that she's guilty of and she wants to stay there to protect them because maybe it was her fault that some of these soldiers found them or something, or found their village, so anything like that could be a reason why she wants to watch over these kids the way that she does, or she just literally does it to do it. And the sad part of this all is the more and more these demons that our main character kills, he keeps getting more and more of his body, which in return can be so badly injured that he might need the prosthetics back. This week we straight up see this man almost lose his whole entire leg. And of course it's the leg that grew back after the demons had already taken it, and he was growing it. It grew back after the fight. But now he then has to worry about, fighting more demons that are maybe capable of doing crazier stuff, being even more deadly, and them attacking those limbs that aren't prosthetics anymore. So, yeah, pretty rough. He learned, or not learned, but he obtained his voice back this week after fighting this centipede with the priest that he even warned them to stay away from, and he even wanted the kid to get his strength back, which is interesting that the priest can take on something like that. I mean, he didn't full on like kill it himself, but he also didn't shy away from it. He went in for the battle. He was ready to throw his life away pretty much if it came down to it at that point. But the one thing that we have to remember is the priest was the first person to ever see our main character, and from the actual soul that he saw amongst this guy was definitely tainted in some ways. It wasn't fully white, so it wasn't a full white human non-evil soul. It had a little bit of evil in it, if I remember, or from what he could tell from his vision. So if that is the case, we might be looking at something in the case of him, like he says in this week, we got to watch over him and everything. But at the same time, what if he means he wants to watch over him only if he turns, if he turns into a demon, he wants to be the one to take him out and put him down type of deal. He doesn't want this person to grow up to be some ridiculously powerful demon that he was assisting all this time and then let it loose on the people. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but with his soul looking more and more like a normal soul, but then there's this red radiance coming out of it. It kind of gives you this indication that he's definitely got some ties to the demons, maybe in a way that we just don't understand yet. I mean, sure, every time they kill one and he gets his body parts, but maybe he isn't fully human at all as well. And even if he gets all of his human parts back, he still might have like in his brain or something, something that he can't necessarily just fix. Maybe it's in there or in his heart or something, I don't know. But from what I'm getting from this whole show, I absolutely love the vibes. He got his voice at the worst time because he just got part of his leg bit off, so the whole time after he gets his voice, he's just literally screaming in pain. I mean, he suffered pain pretty bad from this bird in this week, but it was nowhere near this like centipede monster that came out of the ground and did what it did to him. So I'm truly worried about his fighting style and like his way of just being able to compattle, uh, uh, go against these demons in the long run if they're getting just as clever, if not stronger, or he's losing his edge because of these new appendages. So, really interested in this show. I honestly think this is one of these shows that could go any way for the ending because it's so vague and the character has no real like seeming purpose in the sense besides getting his own limbs back and righting back the wrongs of his limbs being taken and his father is like still got a son that he could supposedly put the air into, and we don't know if the son has some demonic thing going on with him. So it's really in the air at this point, and I love that. I love that aspect of any show that when I'm watching it and I'm picking up everything that I can, and I'm still confused to where the story can go in the very future. I mean, sure, it could be the kid versus his dad and his brother, but that seems too easy. And if it is that, like, okay, then it's not the most compelling in-game story, but at least the story to get to that point was fun. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you guys had a great day, night, evening, whatever the case is when you're watching this. And I hope you do subscribe and join your boy on making this channel a fun place for all people to just talk about anime, whatever the case may be, what anime you might want to talk about, what gender, or not gender, what genre you want to talk about. So I am the Anime G, and I have spoken. But yeah, guys, I will talk to you in the next one. I'm dropping Mob Psycho a little bit later today, so make sure you keep your eyes and ears open for that if you are interested in Mob Psycho. And I just want to make sure it's out there that I'm not going to not put it up. So, yeah. With that being said, everybody, have a good one, and peace. What?